Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your source material, we break it down, and give you the key insights, basically, a shortcut to getting really well informed. Today, we've got a pretty compelling story you sent over. It's from a YouTube channel, Reddit Tales Revealed.
That's right, and specifically, it's from a video called Got Fired After Showing Up 5 Minutes Late. Even though I worked 70 hours per week, I made him regret. Quite a title.
Yeah, it definitely grabs you.
So our mission here is to unpack this story, Brooke Landry's story. We're looking at things like dedication, corporate loyalty, but also intellectual property and resilience. We'll trace how things went so wrong for her professionally, and then how that failure actually sparked an incredible comeback.
Okay, let's get into it. Brooke Landry, 29, Grand Rapids, Michigan. She calls herself the backbone of her company, Echelon Systems. Small logistics play, sounds like. What did being the backbone actually mean for her day to day? What drove that level of, dedication?
Well, she described just extreme commitment. We're talking 70, sometimes 75 hours a week,
Right.
regularly. Yeah. Never took a sick day, missed family birthdays. She even watched her sister Sarah's wedding on a shaky video call
No way.
from her office because she was fixing a server problem. She actually mentions feeling kind of unseen by her family, and maybe that fueled her drive to be indispensable at work, to be exceptional at Echelon. It was the place she felt she could finally, be seen.
So indispensable. How did that play out practically? It wasn't just about the hours, was it? She must have been doing critical work.
Oh, absolutely critical. She joined right out of college.
Yeah.
And she helped design their internal systems from the ground up.
The core software.
The very software their entire logistics operation ran on. She trained pretty much everyone who joined after her, even wrote the employee handbook. She called the system her baby, like her creation.
Okay, so she's deeply invested, built the core tech, then things change.
Yeah.
A new VP arrives, Matt Parker.
Exactly. Matt comes in, described as all sharp suits and confident talk. Good presenter, apparently, and good at taking credit. He seemed to see Brooke as just reliable. Okay, but ultimately replaceable. She talks about spending weeks, sometimes months, developing new features,
Right.
only for Matt to present them in leadership meetings like they were his ideas. He'd soak up all the praise.
Oof. That's tough.
She called it a small betrayal at the time, but she sort of pushed it down, told herself it was for the company. If Echelon did well and her work was valued somewhere, even if uncredited, maybe that was okay.
That's a lot to swallow.
Yeah.
For so little recognition. Feels like something had to give, right? It all blew up one Monday morning.
It did, yeah. A Monday morning. Started out normal, she said, until this huge multi-car pileup on I-196. Just gridlock.
Oh, man. Yeah, those can be brutal.
Her GPS was just a sea of red. She tried calling Matt, texting him, couldn't get through. She finally walked into the office 5 minutes late.
5 minutes. After years of 70-hour weeks and building their core systems, what happened?
Matt was waiting, right by her desk, HR standing behind him. His voice, she said, was flat cold. Just told her, pack your things, you're done.
Just like that. For 5 minutes.
He claimed it was a repeat offense. Referenced something from months before, being 2 minutes late after a dentist appointment, an appointment she'd apologized profusely for at the time.
Wow. That sounds targeted.
She felt it was totally a deliberate distortion, like a pre-written script. They handed her a box, already taped up, and her final paycheck, missing over 30 hours of overtime.
The overtime for fixing that critical bug.
The very same one, the one that saved them thousands. No handshake, no thank you, just cold dismissal.
That's just, wow. The betrayal there. After everything she put in, to be treated like she's disposable, what did that do to her immediately?
Well, first she felt empty, just numb. Then came the shame, she said, for believing in them, for thinking her loyalty meant something. That disbelief and hurt, though, it started to shift. It turned into this cold, hard anger. And then a quiet resolve. She started questioning everything, like, was I stupid to give so much? Her savings started dwindling. She felt hollowed out.
So here she is, feeling completely discarded. In that kind of crisis, what resources do you even have? She found something, didn't she? During a sleepless night.
She did. This is the turning point. Going through old computer files, just, sorting things out.
Do you see her finds?
She found the files for the project management system, the backbone system she'd built from scratch years ago.
The one they were still using.
The very one. And then it hit her. When she started, fresh out of college, there was no formal contract, no paperwork about IP or anything. It was all handshake deals and vague promises of equity that never actually happened. Later, yeah, the company got more formal, HR processes, contracts for new hires, but she built the core system before all that.
So, wait, does that mean...
Legally, they'd never actually secured the rights to her creation. It wasn't standard work for hire because of that early informal stage. The shocking realization, I owned it. I actually own the thing that made them run.
That is incredible. Just stumbled upon it. So what does she do with this, like, bombshell information?
First step, lawyer up. She found a tech lawyer, Miss Davies, described as sharp, shrewd. The lawyer looked at everything and confirmed it. You have a very strong case.
Okay.
So Miss Davies drafts a cease-and-desist letter, basically saying, stop using my client's software effective immediately. That letter hits Echelon's legal department. Brooke said it landed like a bomb.
I bet it did. What happened at Echelon then, when they realized they couldn't use their own core system?
Absolute chaos. By Monday morning, their entire internal operation ground to a halt. Project managers couldn't assign tasks, logistics couldn't track shipments, sales couldn't pull reports. Total paralysis. Matt Parker was apparently frantic, running around, trying to figure out what had gone wrong. The irony, as Brooke points out, is just perfect, isn't it? He fires the one person who built the system.
And then the sister itself basically fires the company.
Pretty much. Shuts them down.
So while Echelon is in meltdown mode, Brooke isn't just watching the fire burn, right? What's her move?
No, she gets busy. She remembers this old business plan she'd sketched out years ago. An idea for a leaner, smarter logistics platform.
Her own thing.
Yeah, one that, crucially, put people first, valued loyalty. She took all her knowledge, all her frustration, everything she learned at Echelon, the good and the bad, and poured it into building this new venture, making it intuitive, incredibly efficient, and scalable.
So not just a product, but a whole new company. How does she get it off the ground? Find customers?
She started calling contacts, people in the industry who knew her work, respected her. She just told them her story, honestly. Offered freelance consulting using her new platform.
Direct approach.
Very. And word started spreading really fast. Like, hey, you know Brooke Landry, the woman who built Echelon Systems? She's independent now, and her new platform is better. Her first client was a small local distributor. Their success story became her proof of concept, her first case study.
That's smart. Leverage your reputation. How quickly did things take off?
Yeah.
It sounds like Echelon's clients might have been getting restless anyway.
Exactly. Within just 6 months, get this, 3 of Echelon's biggest clients had quietly, systematically switched over to Brooke's platform.
Oh, 3 big ones.
Yep. They were apparently fed up, the old system crashing, lack of support, the bureaucracy at Echelon, and Brooke's platform. It worked well, it was user-friendly, and maybe most importantly, it came with her. The person who actually built it understood it inside out and genuinely cared if they succeeded. She wasn't just selling software. She was selling, partnership, expertise, reliability.
That makes perfect sense. You buy the person as much as the product. So the story can't end there. Matt Parker has to reach out and write, the tables have completely turned.
He did. Eventually, an email lands in Brooke's inbox. Subject line, catching up.
Subtle.
Right. She hesitated, but she said her curiosity got the better of her. They agreed to meet. Neutral ground, a cafe.
Okay, the scene is set. What's Matt like now?
He looked tired, stressed. The smugness she remembered, gone. Replaced by these desperate, almost pleading eyes. He starts stammering, talking about how difficult things had been since the cease and desist. Clients leaving, the company struggling. He even sort of implied she was ruining everything.
Wow, the nerve. After he fired her for being 5 minutes late,
Right.
How did Brooke react to seeing him like that, hearing any satisfaction? Anger?
Surprisingly, no. She said she felt nothing but a quiet detachment, no anger anymore, no need for revenge. It was just over. Matt, though, he's desperate. He offers her old job back. But as VP of operations this time, huge raise, anything, he says. He pleaded, Brooke, we need you. I need you. You're the only one who truly understands the system. You built it, please.
The ultimate reversal.
Yeah.
So what did she say to the man who threw her out?
She just smiled. A real smile this time. She described it as gentle but firm, and she told him, Matt, I'm not mad anymore. Just better off. She went on, you taught me what loyalty really costs. And then she just laid it out. It's not worth working 70 hours a week for someone who sees you as replaceable. Not when I can build something for myself, something that truly reflects my worth. Then she just stood up, walked away, left him there, alone, with his cold coffee and his crumbling company. Never looked back.
Wow, just walked away.
Yeah. It's such a powerful moment, isn't it? It really shows how understanding your actual value and Crucially, understanding your intellectual property rights, especially in those messy early startup phases,
Yeah,
how that can completely change the game.
absolutely. So thinking about our listeners,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway here? For anyone navigating their own career, maybe feeling undervalued or even starting their own thing?
Well, Brooke's story, it's a really stark reminder that adversity can be more than just a challenge. It can force you to really look at what you've created, what you own, maybe in ways you never considered. It's about knowing your value, sure, but also about the specifics, like understanding those early, maybe informal agreements. Did you sign away your IP? Was it a proper work-for-hire setup from day one? Or was it more like Brooke's situation, and built on handshakes before the lawyers got involved? Sometimes those gray areas, they hold unexpected leverage. Her journey from feeling invisible, disposable, to really seeing her own worth and power, it's a huge lesson in autonomy. Sometimes the biggest validation comes from yourself, especially when everything else falls away.
It really drives home that sometimes the worst setbacks, well, they can actually lead to your biggest breakthroughs, especially if you suddenly realize where your real power has been all along.
Exactly. And it makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we just accept the value a company places on us instead of figuring out our own value, our own assets? Brooke's story really asks, what happens when the thing you dedicated yourself to rejects you? And what hidden strength, what untapped ownership might that rejection actually reveal? Makes you wonder what assets you might be overlooking in your own work, right?